So we think it's important to bring the issue of race into the food justice, the food system work. If we can't talk about it, how can we undo it? If we don't have a shared definition for even what we mean by racism, how can we effectively address it together? And this is critical work to do. We know every single movement for social change, and that's what we're engaged in today, is building a movement for some big changes in our world. Every single movement for social change has been divided and weakened by issues of racism and not been as effective as it could be. So it's incumbent on us to bring this as a lens. So rather than as a program area, which is how we often think about it, that's not, that's a great program over here, to integrate it into the very fabric of our work and our thinking together as we start to grow this movement in our valley with all our many differences and challenges. We're hoping to be able to have a workshop that is very focused on food system, food issues, but I would encourage you not to wait for that to happen. If this is something that you feel like you want to explore further, come, sign up, bring a team of your folks from your organization. We're really trying to build organizational momentum to address this, and it really helps to do this together as part of your team. We don't have a date set for a further workshop. We're still working out a lot of the logistics, but I'm trusting, I have faith that it will happen. But do consider joining us in December.
I participated in that workshop on doing racism training. I can't say enough about the impact that it has had on me personally, in my personal life and my work. I highly, highly recommend it if you feel that addressing racism more directly in your work or your personal life is something that you would like to do but don't know what to do next. Or there's a million reasons that people do it. That was my reason. But if you are interested in that, Anne is going to actually host a working group table today at lunch so we could explore if there's a group of people who are interested in pursuing that conversation further and helping us get this training together. It's PVGrows, Hector Figueroa from Holyoke Food and Fitness Policy Council, who's on the steering committee, and Jessica Collins from Live Well Springfield. Both of them are on the steering committee but couldn't be here today. Those three organizations are trying to put this together after the December one. So. Thank you, Anne. People say we're going to have lunch, but we're not really going to have lunch right away. There's a couple more things. We usually end at 12, but this year we knew that we should end at 12:15. It actually says 12:15 on here. Don't think that I'm behind. It says 12:15 on my internal schedule. And the lunch will be ready at 12:15. So we're going to do a quick thing, which we always do, which is we're going to hear a brief, it's like 2 minutes from each of the working groups that are active. And I think I've explained them. The concept is if you want to reach the 500 members of PVGrows to find prospects for something that you are interested in, an affinity group type of thing or a working group of something, you can start one. And if you're active enough, you, after a year, get to come up here and do this little pitch. And also you get to have a representative on the steering committee. So there are many ways to collaborate. You don't need to do it under PVGrows, but a number of groups have, and this is a little sampling of them. So we're starting with the Finance Working Group / PVGrows Loan Fund, and Margaret Christie is going to do that.
Sam says, be quick. The Pioneer Valley Grows Finance Working Group runs the Pioneer Valley Grows Loan Fund. This is a partnership, and really, I'm not going to read you all the names of all the organizations, but Sam has them, so you can read them behind me. They're also on this purple piece of paper, which there's more of them back there. But I think really what's important is there are 4 community lenders engaged in this. There are 2 foundations, national foundations with local offices, and there are 3 agriculture-focused organizations. And what that partnership allows us to do with the loan fund is really figure out how can we support the businesses that come to us and how can we help grow more businesses that will need financing along with a lot of other kinds of support. So when businesses come through PVGrows, sometimes we're able to make them a loan. We make loans up to $250,000. Sometimes they're a better fit for one of the partner lenders, and we say you should go talk to these people because you might really work with them. Sometimes they need to do some business planning or more preparation, and we're able to offer them technical support for doing that. And sometimes we look around and we say, there isn't the right kind of technical support, and so how can we help to create that together or with lots of the rest of you here in this room? So I think it really speaks to the power of working together to try to offer the kind of services that will grow the businesses that are one critical element of a more robust local food system. So spread the word.
Nicely done. Thank you. All right. Jeff Rosen is up next. Slow Money, Pioneer Valley.
So you're always trying to figure out, is your organization successful and how do you know that? Well, one way is it didn't used to scare me to stand up here and talk in front of the group, but now it's a pretty big crowd, and so that's good news in general. So we have a Slow Money chapter, and actually the roots of PVGrows go back to Slow Money. Woody Tash, how many folks are familiar with the phrase Slow Money, just so I know? Okay, so originally Slow Money inspired the development of PVGrows and the Working Finance Group. And really the idea was that if we were going to be serious about scaling up the local food movement, that we had to talk about investment and that we had to be serious about trying to deliver that. It's great that we have these partners in the room. And we created this loan fund, which we call a pilot loan fund, and it's part of a layer of capital. And so as a working group, what it's going to focus on primarily is two things. It's going to try and bring individual investors to individual deals. And we've had 2 meetings so far, and at one of those we brought Real Pickles forward. Dan and Addie are here. You guys want to raise your hands? Who are in the middle of really looking for creative capital, and we think that this working group can help them in that pursuit. And the other thing I think that is innovative and right on the cusp now is around crowdfunding and trying to organize a little bit better around crowdfunding. And the challenge for the working group, and I think it's confusing to people, is we have the existing finance working group working on a loan fund. We're also trying to develop a community capital fund, which would again be a professionally managed fund where individuals could invest into a fund that would then deploy capital. And then this is a space in between, which is more flexible capital, more relationship-based. So what we're really looking for in the room are folks that are interested in investing, who've long been saying, I wish I could invest right into enterprises in my local food system. We're looking for entrepreneurs who are looking for creative and flexible capital, who are serious about their business and capable of moving it forward, but are just stuck right at that capital point. And then we're also looking for people that can build relationships, help to connect investors and entrepreneurs, and might be really interested in coming in through this crowdfunding portal. So it's the focus of the group is more about deal-by-deal transactions. It's not really about a pool. It's not about the professionally administered investment. It's more about the relationship side, and we feel like that's an important part of the work. So we hope to meet again in December, and I think we'll try and always split these meetings between a few presenters of investment-ready opportunities who are working on this crux, and then other people are probably going to be working on how we move the chapter forward. Okay? So if anybody's interested in that, they can sign up to the listserv on the PVGrows website.
Yes. Higher Education, Madeline Charney. Awesome working group.
Hi, I work at the UMass Amherst Library, and in the past 5 years, I have seen this incredible proliferation of students, faculty, community members coming to me with food systems questions. Can you give me some assistance? And I'm trying to do some research in that area. So it occurred to me we need a working group in PVGrows focused on higher ed, and our group has been meeting for 1.5 years, very robust, vibrant. Thank you everybody who's either come to meetings. We also have an active listserv, which anybody can join. In a nutshell, last year we had 2 very successful events called Fast Talk About Food. If you go onto YouTube, you can see all of them recorded. They're really amazing lineup of faculty and students working side by side to present their food systems project and research. This year we met again and said, what's next for our group? And what we decided after looking at all our ideas was to create an internet matching tool. So I have these sheets of paper. I've already collected 3. So if you're sitting out here today and your organization or farm or nonprofit or higher ed institution is looking for interns to help you fuel your food systems projects, write it down and put it in the basket at the table or contact me. I'm easy to find on the PVGrows website. join us at lunch, even if you want to just stop by. It doesn't mean you have to sit the whole time, but give me your ideas, get on our listserv. It's really been gratifying to work with this group, and there's so much energy, creativity, and productivity amongst the students and faculty, so really tap into it, because there's a very fertile valley in terms of academia as well as all the other amazing work that we're doing. So I hope to see some of you at lunch.
Alex Risley Schroeder with the Food System Job Creation Group, and she has a whole separate slide.
Thanks. So this, you've heard about more established groups. This is a fledgling group. We've had a couple of lunches and we've had one meeting. And here's where we're at. We're sharpening our focus and we're trying to look at the things on the left and determine what makes the most sense for this group to dig into. So the next time you hear from somebody from this group, they'll sound a lot more like Madeline. Like, here's the action we took, here's what we're engaged in, here's how you can help us. So today is the day to weigh in and really sharpen that focus for us. And the other piece is job creation is a very popular thing to talk about, and it's also a very complex thing. And it depends on the place that you stand, what your thoughts about job creation are. So this list, as you can see, is quite diverse. So we really welcome you to swing by the table and weigh in what feels most effective and the ways in which you'd like to help spur job creation in our Pioneer Valley food system.
Food Access and Community Health Working Group is a working group that existed and then kind of faded away. And so there is a listserv, I think, with like 30 people on it or something, and there's some interest. And so Christina agreed today to host the conversation as a lunch table and see who's interested, because it wasn't not a good idea. It just didn't have somebody who was able to take some leadership before when we were working on it. So do you want to say anything about it? Do you want to come up and?
Sure.
What would you like? What would the conversation be about at lunch?
Okay, so the conversation at lunch will be about a food access working group and community health working group, and it will be the very beginning of a conversation. Should we have such a group? If so, what are some of the things we could talk about? How should we move forward? Should we have another meeting? So we're really starting right at the beginning. Like Sam said, this group used to exist, I think, for a very short period of time, and it's really completely defunct. So we'll be starting again from the beginning. So please join us if you're interested in talking about some of these issues and helping us figure out how.